up, everybody?
Ooh.
Welcome back to Tail of the Tape, brought to you by Gym Bag Entertainment, and this is your combat sports show by guys who love combat sports. As always, I'm your host, Craig, here with my co-host.
Oh, I forgot to do a nickname. Michael Johnson.
Awesome. Good times, good times. So obviously you guys know we had UFC 305 in Perth, Duplessis versus Adesanya, and that was an awesome card. But before we jump into that, we talked about it earlier. I just wanted to bring it up on the show. I was watching the previous week's Ultimate Fighter, and we had the middleweight semifinal matchup.
I must admit, I'm way behind.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've watched the first three, I think.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
This has been probably the most exciting series of fights on the Ultimate Fighter that I've seen.
Yeah.
Like the most exciting fights, not necessarily the best, not the and like anything too crazy, but there's been a lot of exciting fights, a lot of exciting finishes, and none more than I can't remember his name, but it's the Viking dude.
Okay.
He's got the faux hawk looking joint, and homeboy in the first round gets over the top counter elbow in his first fight for a knockout, which was incredible. But in his second fight, he's got to face his buddy, because Alexa Grasso, she did most of the winning here.
Okay.
And so it's both fighters from Grasso's team, and it's very exciting. A lot of big exchanges, but homeboy gets touched up and gets a little wobbled, goes in for the takedown, struggling for it, but eventually gets the dude, keeps trying to drag dude down, but he can't, switches to a judo throw, lands on the
head throw.
Yeah,
right?
The head throw, traps dude's arm between his legs, locks it up, and just a little twist, and it was like what's that? Americana, but with his leg.
Yeah, the scarf hold.
The scarf hold, yeah. And holy crap, that was the coolest thing. I've never seen that submission before in the UFC.
Yeah, it's not common.
Yeah.
It's like something that somebody has to train a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People tend to keep it simple.
Yeah.
With their arsenal of submissions, you know what I mean? But when you come across a person who trains the weird stuff, why not?
Why? And when it comes, if it
I think it's a great idea to train the weird stuff. I always thought with jiu-jitsu, because there's so many different styles of submissions, and people will see it coming less if it's less traditional. Yeah,
like look at the twister. Like we got no twisters, and then like we got like 3 twisters in a year, and it was crazy. And then what did we get? The bow tie.
Oh yeah.
What was it?
The Peruvian necktie.
Peruvian necktie was insane.
We've seen how many crucifix positions from people, right? But there's a number of cool submissions from the crucifix, and it's always they just want to try the elbows to finish the ground.
They want to damage. They don't want to go for the submission.
And you could always end up getting something so cool, and people,
Yeah.
But it's MMA, not submission grappling.
Yeah.
But
cool.
It is something you might see more in a submission competition.
Yeah, exactly. And
cool.
that was a super cool submission. So if you guys are out there and you're not caught up on the Ultimate Fighter, I apologize that I spoiled it for you, but it's worth watching. This is a very good season. One of the things I will say, zero trash talk between Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko. Nothing but professionalism.
You can expect that.
Yeah,
right?
They have no trash talking.
Yeah.
It's actually been really cool watching them just do their thing and train fighters with. I mean, you do like the drama, but there really wasn't. And
I think aside from Ronda and who was it, Miesha Tate?
Yeah, Miesha Tate. Yeah,
the females are
pretty tame.
Yeah,
pretty tame. Even Juliana Pena and Amanda Nunes, they didn't chop. They did chop it up a couple times, but not a lot.
But it was just they were in it trying to train the fighters.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But this has been a pretty.
The lady
season.
Coaches might make for more entertaining. They might try harder.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I will say, you want to talk about it's so funny when you think high level athletes does not mean good at sports. And
that's true.
Their they always have the competition.
Overall, yeah. Like,
It was basketball shooting, and you want to talk about two women who don't know how to shoot a basketball.
they just maybe never played.
Never played.
It happens.
And it showed, and it was entertaining and it was fun, but it was hilarious. Some people, like when you get sports athletes, like your traditional sports athletes, they can generally cross over.
Because they might have played it one or the other when they
Exactly.
were young.
Or they probably played most of them.
Yeah.
They probably played most sports when they were younger, so they have a knack for it. But sometimes you get fighters and they have no athletic
And outside
bones.
of America, too, growing up in either Mexico or Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What sports are being played
Yeah.
on the regular?
Mostly
You know?
European football.
Yeah, mostly football, and both countries, like Mexico too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, outside of America,
they get
football
in-
and basketball, they're not really.
they get into combat sports, and they ain't playing nothing.
They ain't playing nothing else.
Yeah.
They be like, I can't shoot a basketball, but I
Probably-
can whoop your ass.
Probably can't throw a baseball. Grasso maybe.
Maybe. True. Yeah, she probably. If there was a pitching competition, she maybe. But the
I
way
don't
she
know.
shot a basketball,
Probably not.
I'm
If
gonna
they
say
both
no.
shot like that, they probably can't throw a baseball either. Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
it's been an entertaining season. I'm a fan. And with that being said, let's jump into it, man. UFC 305 in Perth. Duplessis versus, and he actually said it. It's Adesanya.
Yeah.
I always thought it was Adesanya, not Adesanya, but it's Adesanya. So it's. I feel like it's one of those names that nobody's really tried outside of us. Nobody's really tried to pronounce correctly.
Yeah.
They just do the UFC pronunciation and leave it at that. All right, we started out with the flyweight bout: Stuart Nicole versus Jesus Aguilar.
I want to say I saw that in the early prelims. Jesus Aguilar, did he win?
Jesus Aguilar did win by submission.
Okay.
This was how did he submit him? Oh, this was I think it was. Did he get him in the guillotine choke?
It might have. I'm trying to remember the early prelims. I thought I remembered
Oh,
all of them.
I think he got. I think he got a guillotine choke on this dude. I don't really remember. We should have really thought about that.
Right? Jeez. right at the first fight.
Yeah.
Neither of us.
And early submission. I want to say it was a guillotine choke.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Round one, early.
Yeah.
I don't know if I saw that fight, to be honest. I do because I remember Song Kanan the next fight.
Yeah, the next fight, which was a good one. In the welterweight bout, Song Kanan versus Ricky Glenn. And Song Kanan just really kind of gave it to him.
Just worked him.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy. Straight down the pipe with the right hand. Some check left hooks. Song kind of ran out of gas late. You know, but Glenn had no answer for anything.
Exactly.
Just picked him apart.
All day.
Yeah.
Good fight for Song.
Yeah, looked good. And Glenn was tough. Took a lot of shots.
Oh, boy. That's the true definition of toughness right there. For the main event of the early prelims, you got Tom Nolan versus Alex Reyes, and I feel like this was much of the same.
Yeah,
just him working him.
Tom Nolan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. Decision, right?
This was a unanimous decision for Tom Nolan.
Yeah, he looks good.
He looked good.
He's young, right?
I will say this. The problem I have with Tom Nolan is
They hyped him up a lot. They were talking him up a lot.
he's wild.
Yeah.
He's very, very wild. I believe you put him in there with, I even think, a top 15 guy, and he's going to get knocked out.
Yeah.
He didn't have much in the way of defense, super wild, but a guy like that, you hone in those skills with his with his power striking,
Yeah,
and he
because
could put dudes out.
I think, again, he was fighting a tough opponent
Yeah.
that was hard to put away,
Yeah.
because he landed some bombs.
All right, and then we got to start the prelims with the featherweight bout. Jack Jensen fighting one of the four brothers fighting in this card.
Yeah.
Jack Jensen versus Herbert Burns, and this did not go Herbert Burns' way.
Now, Herbert having a tough run, in the UFC in general. They're trying to stick with him, I think, out of love for Gilbert.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's very skilled, Herbert. His striking seems to get better, but I don't know, man. Like
I don't know that he's built for the UFC.
yeah, I don't know. Like he keeps taking tough, hard losses, where he has to get beat up, and it looks like he's getting some good work, does some good stuff, and then just gets beat up some more.
He got really hurt in this one, and man, I don't know how many more fights
He's had
the
a couple
UFC is going to give
injuries
him.
now. I'm not sure his body's built for it.
He definitely only fights once, maybe a year, sometimes a year and a half.
Well, yeah, and he had a big knee injury, and
might not be long for
it's
the
rough.
UFC.
I like him though. He's a good kid.
All right, then we go to the women's flyweight bout. Casey O'Neill versus Luana Santos, and Casey O'Neill was kind of clinicking this girl right here.
It was a good-looking fight overall. It was just slightly competitive, but Casey had the better of it the whole time.
Yeah, Luana Santos looked outmatched.
Yeah, didn't change much of anything.
Couldn't get any takedowns.
Couldn't get the striking range.
And Casey, I feel like that was the best I've seen Casey O'Neill look.
She looked pretty good.
Pouring on the pressure, pinpoint striking. It was looking pretty excellent for her. So good win for Casey O'Neill, and let's see her maybe rise up in the ranks, ranked number 15 right now. So maybe she can start climbing that ladder.
Yeah, we need them. We need the contenders.
Absolutely. And this one right here, this one had me upset. This is the robbery of the day.
Okay.
Featherweight bout. Josh Culibao versus Ricardo Ramos, and I hated that this was a split decision, first off.
It was bad overall, the judging. The one judge gave him 30-27 to Ricardo Ramos, and that's
insane.
Terrible. I don't see where Ramos won a round at all.
Correct.
I personally saw it as 30-27 for Culibao.
I agree.
Maybe there's an argument for the first round because Ramos had his back a lot. And was close to a choke.
Oh, that was when he had the, and props to Culibao for not getting, his hand was behind the head.
It's about as close as you get to a finish without getting it.
Yeah.
So okay, Ramos gets round one, but then Culibao puts it on him.
Yeah. And I feel like what he got takedowns in the second and third, but did nothing with him.
Yeah, destroys Ramos's leg. And lands big shots. Ramos with the toughness on the leg, because it started getting, if he touched it, he would fall down. He couldn't walk. He stumbled and fell himself.
You got to give him props for that because it was.
And the judging was just bad. That one judge that gave it 30-27 Ramos, they relieved him in his other fights later than
really?
Yeah, for the rest of the night.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I read that after.
Oh, wow.
Because they're done with this bullshit.
Yeah, something has to be done with this obscure judging that makes I've said this before.
Make it make sense. 30-27. You know what I mean?
I've said it before. I'll say it 100 times. Judges need to be held accountable. There should be a press conference where they have to. I don't care if it's a 3-hour press conference where you have to break down how you judge this fight for this fighter to prove your words.
Oh yeah.
And with the fight, and only in the fights where there's controversy, sit down and break down this fight to me and tell me how you were able to judge this in favor of this fighter. Until that happens, you'll continue to have bad judging.
And I think now they're trying to just, you see an egregious one like this, 30-27, they're like, I don't even care what you think you saw because your vision is wrong and you need to be just removed.
Yes, 100%.
You know what I mean?
And then I think something needs to be done about that also because, with this fight, I think it's egregious that he didn't win. There should be a way to appeal to have it overturned to a victory for him. And there should be some sort of...
They can, and what they'll do is they'll play it in front of 3 new judges, and they'll have them score it.
Okay.
Is how they do
I think stuff like that needs to happen more often because there's too many fights.
That's if they do a legal appeal.
Okay.
Culibao's corner.
Oh, well, I hope they do.
But they could. They definitely have grounds to bring it up with the athletic commission.
I agree.
And just have 3 other judges look at it.
Well,
you know, why not?
Yeah, let's
doesn't
make
hurt.
stuff like that happen.
Yeah, I mean, it costs, I'm sure.
But I'm an advocate for that because too many fighters are getting robbed nowadays.
Yeah.
All right, with the main event of the prelim, the massacre of Junior Tafa versus Walter Walker. Two other brothers, the brother of Justin Tafa and the brother of Johnny Walker, facing off in this. Massacre.
Two guys that look like they could be light heavyweights.
Yeah.
Small heavyweights. But Walter, a wrestler, the complete opposite of his brother Johnny.
Where Junior is the identical fighter of his brother.
Just a slugger. Yeah. And I don't remember what he gets him with. What did Walter get him with? A submission early?
He got him. Well, no, it was a submission. It was a leg lock that he hollered when he rolled, and they stopped the fight.
They stopped it on a verbal.
And they said that in Perth, the commission says if you yell, they got to stop the fight. So we thought it was a bad stoppage, and Junior contested it, and then decided after the decision to slap Walter in the face, which to me, You're not good enough to be walking up, slap people in the face. No. I feel like that should be an immediate elimination.
And he's calling for him, to fight outside the whole time is what he wanted. Like, I don't know. Are you there to win money or are you there to just be a thug? I don't know.
And you didn't look good.
There's a lot of those guys in the UFC, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Are you there to win money?
Or
isn't that the purpose?
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to get paid if I'm fighting.
Exactly.
I'm not,
I don't want to fight for free. I don't train this hard to fight for free.
I don't want to go outside with you after.
Yeah. So
if I'm Walter Walker, I'll be like, he handled it good, like whatever.
Yeah.
He didn't engage at all.
And actually called out his brother so he could whoop on him next. And here's the thing. Like, clearly, you're outmatched in the UFC. You have zero ground game, zero takedown defense, and that's how both you and your brother have been getting beaten. And maybe it's time to move on, first off. Second off, to disrespect the octagon in that way, I don't want to see you fight anymore.
You disrespect the UFC in general, doing shit like that. You disrespect the athletic commission, and you're assaulting people. Once the bell is over.
Yeah, and why are you going after Walter?
Yeah. He didn't stop it.
He didn't stop the fight. He stopped you. He had you crying out like a girl, and you're a punk. Why are you mad at him?
Right. Like he won't slam you in the parking lot?
Yeah, like he wasn't already dominating
And if you don't land the punch first, when you try to fight him outside,
what's going to happen?
You don't think he'll slam you on the concrete?
Oh, my God. It's going to be so bad for you. But whatever. That's how that goes. We'll see what the outcome and the repercussions are for his actions, if there will be any.
Walter Walker, a good wrestler. He took him down at will, and might do it to his brother.
Oh, I 100% believe that it will be a similar result.
But Tafa did land a few shots. I'll give him that. And if his brother hits harder.
Yeah.
If he lands some,
with some training, you're susceptible to some power punches.
And you never know about Walker.
Yeah. The Walker brothers might have suspect chins.
But maybe he's the opposite because he fights opposite. Maybe he got the opposite
He's a little bigger. Could take a little bit more. Yeah, maybe he could take a little bit more damage. All right, so then we jump into the main event with a performance of the night, and boy, was this a performance of the night. Ling Jiang Lang versus Carlos Pratis.
Yeah, Pratis.
And wow, this dude looks good.
Counters while moving forward, making you throw while being in your face, and the head movement and being so long that when Lee would try to exit away, he was just getting clipped, and it just built up and built up. Lee was tough and was landing okay in the mix, but again, like the female fight early in the night, didn't change much.
No.
He wasn't trying to wrestle Pratis.
And didn't have a whole lot of time to change things up either. Yeah. Second round KO, with a minute in, it was pretty one-sided fight and looked good.
The first round, he just picked him apart, and then the second round just ended it. Just finished him.
Looked real good.
But like no changing of stuff. Like if you're just getting beat up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
While you're trying to exchange and you're not landing, like, I don't know, shoot a takedown, push the clinch, do something.
Now, I have this question for you. Somebody else who had a win over Lin Jingluang got vaulted up into the top 15, maybe even top 10.
Right.
And that was Khamzat Chimaev.
Lee had a bigger ranking himself at the time.
Did he?
He was on a win streak.
Okay.
And now he's taking some losses.
So does this at least get you into the top 15?
I don't see why it shouldn't.
Yeah.
With the other contenders that are there, I think so.
Yeah.
Kid's got I think 3 or 4 in a row. In the UFC.
And I think he can handle the way he handled this fight. 100%, a top 15 guy would look real good for him.
Finishing Lee with strikes too,
yes.
like on the feet, is
that's big.
Calculated and measured too. Took him apart strike by strike. Not an early finish because he caught him with one big strike.
Correct. He wore him out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like that.
Picked him apart to the body with jabs to the body with the long frame and
Yeah, I'm gonna have to think on this, on who I might want to see him fight next. All right, and then we got a heavyweight bout: Tai Tuivasa versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. A nice little striker's delight.
Did this kick off that
fight kicked it off. Yeah, with a performance of the night.
That was great.
Yes,
but Rozenstruik, the best I've seen him.
100. I'm glad you said it, because 110%. This was the best Jairzinho Rozenstruik.
Not overly defensive, but he's always measured in defensive and starts slow. But he was cooking at some points
and looked so confident.
Tai couldn't touch him.
Nothing. Nothing he did worked.
He didn't have to check leg kicks. He was getting his leg out of the way.
Yeah.
And Tuivasa got one of the better leg kicking game at heavyweight. I mean, I was impressed all around.
I'm so like sad for Tai Tuivasa because I love Tai Tuivasa, but I feel like he's just become the Jorge Masvidal of the heavyweight division. Like if he fights lower ranked guys, he's gonna have fun wins, but as soon as he gets into that upper tier, he's just completely outmatched.
Yeah, I don't know. He's maybe not advancing in skill. I wonder sometimes with the guys that are fun-loving. They're great characters, obviously, but how serious is it?
Yeah.
To improve yourself, like to look at your fights when you're losing in like, I got to change this part of my skills and, advance yourself. That's like, it takes calculated, measured work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And maybe he just doesn't have...
And if you go through the motions of, going and working combos and doing some drills and doing sparring and, you're in great shape.
Yeah.
You can hit hard, you're fast and, things like that. But did you fix your
anything?
holes?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, did you fix any of the holes in your game? I mean, at the end of the day, whether or not... maybe we've seen the best of Tai Tuivasa that we're ever going to see, but... like a Jorge Masvidal, like a Kevin Holland,
there's things
like
to
a
do,
Bobby Green.
And there's fights to have.
Yeah. You can bring exciting fights without trying to go for the belt. And if money is your game, then give us those fights. Yeah. But if the belt is your game, you're in the wrong promotion.
Or buckle down and change.
Yeah.
And change it. And do the things that I said.
Do you think at this age, though, he has the time and the ability?
I'm trying to recall what his age is.
I don't think he's super old, but I definitely think he's already crossed the 30 mark.
Yeah.
So, and which isn't that old.
No,
you got guys like DC who fought in the up to 40 at a high level.
That's right around the time that you could, like your last chance to start making them type of changes.
True. All right, then we got fight of the night, which was amazing. Lightweight bout versus Matsu Gamrot and Dan Hooker.
God, this is great, huh?
This was a banger. Like, I was it's stupid to say, for me to say this, but I was a little annoyed at all the, full body work of ink that Dan Hooker just randomly got. But he turned me around with his, complete, he turned it around in this fight and was able to find a way to win and to compete. It was incredible, man.
Another great character, Dan Hooker. I've always been a big fan of him, and I like the tattoos. They work for him.
It looks good,
And, he's had a couple of really hard fights that didn't go his way. Only really been beat bad by that big left hook from Michael Chandler. Strangely.
He got dominated by Islam Makhachev.
Dominated. Yeah.
But, the bad loss to... And I feel like that wouldn't happen again.
No. Yeah.
Seeing him against Gamrot, I don't think it would go the same way.
It was a bad start.
Yeah.
He started just moving away and... Yeah.
He got rushed and got caught. And it is what it is, but he's showing us right now.
But against Gamrot, the fortitude was there because he showed it in the first round.
Yeah.
Gamrot had him. Gamrot thought he had him for sure and blew most of his gas tank.
Yeah, and I think that was a huge problem. He blew his tank,
and then survived himself somehow. I was kind of impressed with Gamrot actually getting a second win, and the amount of stamina he did have because he was tired.
And the fact that
after round one's output.
The two things I'll give him is one, props for taking a fight against an 11 guy when you were in line for a title shot.
I'm always impressed by that.
Yeah. You gave up your title shot to fight Dan Hooker.
Yeah.
Also, yes. Dan Hooker put some work on Gamrot in the second and third round.
Oh, yeah.
And to be able to have the fortitude to keep yourself in the fight, remain competitive, and remain dangerous.
Yeah.
Super impressive by Gamrot. But, man, Dan Hooker showed us something.
Yeah, and I was impressed with Gamrot's striking either. It was just that Dan put enough volume on him to outdo the good work that Gamrot was doing.
Absolutely.
And I totally believe Dan did enough, even with the grappling of Gamrot and, and the striking that Gamrot landed. Dan's striking volume was just super
insane.
High. Never stopped. The amount of cardio he showed was crazy.
And I agree with the split decision and wouldn't have been mad if it had gone either way.
Either way.
But
I said at the time.
I wanted it for Dan Hooker because of what he had to go through. Because I feel like he had to endure a lot in the beginning of that fight. And throughout it, he saw he was in bad spots throughout multiple times in the fight.
I mean, Gamrot was certain he was done, and he should have emptied the tank.
He was not wrong.
He was right to empty the tank because it looked like for sure anybody else in the world
100%
would be done, and it just an inch away.
And I thought this was a bad fight for Dan Hooker to take in the first place. Because I thought, in my opinion, that Gamrot was on the same level as Makhachev.
Right.
I thought he was the same. I mean, that's who...
Once he was tired after the first round, though, the takedown defense for Dan Hooker was pretty good.
Yeah, because he was the guy Dustin Poirier went to prepare for Islam. And so I thought this was I was like, man, why would you put yourself in this position right now? And he showed us all why he put himself in this position, because he wants to get a title run, and I think he if he ain't next in line, he's real close to it.
Right.
He called out Charles Oliveira for the blonde hair battle.
I like it. I mean, he's got to beat the top guys. You know what I mean? Now that
I mean, Gamrot's 5.
Yeah.
Oliveira's, I think, is 3.
So go through the guys in front of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think I
wouldn't mind the Chandler rematch.
Yeah, I mean, but Chandler's down though. He would be going because he's 5 now. Dan Hooker's 5. Chandler is not 5.
Yeah,
he's not 4 or because you got Charles Oliveira, you got Dustin Poirier, you have what's his name, Sarukian, and so those are the guys that are above him. So I love the Charles Oliveira call out. I think that would be an excellent matchup. Battle of the Blondes.
I like it.
And I think that would, if it doesn't put him into a title shot, it at least puts him against maybe Dustin Poirier, or if Dustin Poirier wants one more.
Yeah, that'd be a good rematch.
That would be a good matchup. That was a great bout.
Fight.
Yeah, they bloodied. That would be a great rematch.
That was a great fight.
Oh man. And then we move on to the performance of the night, flyweight bout, Kai Kara France versus Steve
I almost forgot
Erceg.
about this for a second. Jeez.
Mr. Don't Blink, and he did it again.
He caught Ursig early while Ursig couldn't even get going.
No,
Didn't even get going.
not at all.
You know? Looked like he was trying to settle in slow, Steve Ursig, and I was like, oh, that might be a problem after training for a title fight.
Yeah.
You know, because they only had 3 rounds.
Correct.
And Kai don't wait, you know?
No.
And yeah, I don't know. Ursig was trying to set traps early, but Kai didn't give him any time. He started throwing all kinds of different stuff right off the bat.
Oh yeah, and just
know?
and Kai was setting him up
Yeah.
like good setup for that knockout, and
Yeah, he did. It got him with the step through.
Yes.
You know, you feint the right hand, you don't really throw it, and then you step over through it and throw the big left hand, and then oh man, and then he popped up a little and catch him with another
oh
one
my
and
God,
put him face down.
it was beautiful. And how does so much power come from such a small dude?
Yeah.
He must be rock solid, bro.
Explosiveness, you know, like the quick twitch fibers or what the muscle fibers,
Yeah.
like and the explosiveness of the speed it must be, and pinpoint accuracy as well,
Absolutely.
you know. And he catches you on weird angles when you're stepping towards him or stuff like that. Like, but the angle he cut was beautiful though. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
it was incredible.
And I don't care. Ursig fought for the title. He should be seeing Pantoja.
I would have think that Kai gets a title shot no matter who this knockout was against. Like,
Yes.
to tell you the truth, he should be the next to fight him anyway.
100%. And I think that he's a problem for Pantoja.
Oh, definitely.
I don't think Pantoja is going to be able to hold him down. Kai Kara-France is way too twitchy, and the power he possesses, Pantoja can't take much of that.
Pantoja is a crazy grinder, though,
Yeah.
you know? So, it's an interesting fight, you know?
I'm a huge fan of Kai Kara-France since the Ultimate Fighter days, and I would love to see
It's a
him.
great title fight.
And he would be
Yeah.
a good champion, a fun champion, exciting
agree.
champion. Pantoja's a boring champion.
It's better for the division.
Yeah, so much better for the division, so much more fun, and I would love to see it. So hopefully we get that fight soon. And but best of luck to Kai Kara-France and whatever comes
I mean,
next.
Pantoja should be ready soon, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he should be ready.
Ursig turned around quick enough.
Yeah,
So, and that's the last person.
and it's got to be they both going to get a full camp no matter when it is. So
And that was a quick one for Kai, so
Yeah.
that could be before the end of this year, right?
oh man, December.
Yeah.
Oof. All right, and now we got to hit the main event. The champion, Dricus du Plessis, defending his middleweight belt against the former champ, one of the greatest to ever do it, Israel Adesanya. And man, did this fight not disappoint in any fashion.
It really didn't.
It really
Right?
didn't. Lived up to the hype. It gave us everything I think
Really-
we wanted to see.
Up and down moments, you know, thrilling moments.
Never
And,
boring.
Yeah. No, right? It had a little of everything.
Had a
It
little.
really did.
I mean, Izzy comes in with his clear elite striking and is putting it on du Plessis, but du Plessis, you know, with some grappling work.
Well, he smartly waited, to the second round? I don't think he shot it all in the first
I don't
round.
think he shot it all in the first. I think he got tuned up in the first, and then in the second is when he started grinding on Izzy, and I think that's where
he got that beautiful double leg right away.
Yes.
While Izzy was throwing a shot, he changed levels and got an
Correct.
easy takedown the first one.
But he depleted his gas. He depleted what we thought was his entire gas tank in the second round, but
Well, and
clearly
then-
has reserves.
Yeah, I mean the man fights like that while breathing heavy,
Yeah.
and it looks like he's tired, and that's like part of his style.
He looked like he was a dead dog in there, but never stopped being explosive.
Right.
And can I just say, we know that Izzy is not like this knockout king,
Right.
but du Plessis can take some damage.
And I realized that since this fight, like looking back at all of Dracus's top opponents that he did face,
Yeah.
he's taking some shots.
Yes.
Like that would have knocked out a lot of other dudes.
Correct.
He's taking some shots against Whitaker. Like, yeah,
He's taken damage, and Homeboy has a
He's never had an
granite
easy
chin.
fight.
No, no, no. I don't think he has.
UFC.
Yeah, I don't think he's had an easy one.
Yeah.
But he got through not round 1, round 3, and almost all of round 4. I would say he had a clinic put on him. I think Izzy was landing at will, pushing off takedowns, and just straight housing Duplessis.
There was some striking through round 3 for Duplessis. In the second round, he made it a little dirty in them clinch positions, which I thought would have been the key for him, and not enough to take a round, but enough to make him hope that he was still in it,
Correct.
which he was.
Yep.
And I think deceptively, he hits deceptively hard. His past opponents, Strickland has said it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Whitaker said it, that, Duplessis hit pretty good. And Izzy doesn't show that he's hurt.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yes. 100%.
Like,
he takes it well.
Like, even when Pereira was finishing him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was hard to tell how hurt he is.
Correct.
And I think before the finish, where Dracus got him, that he hurt him with them punches pretty significantly.
Oh, I don't disagree with you even
Yeah.
a little bit. I think even before the last run of punches, I think he had hurt. I want to say they were up at one point. They were up against the fence, and I think he actually hurt Izzy.
Right.
But I think Izzy had recovered. But then, the moment that we know that came in that 4th round, where for some reason Izzy wanted to do the Max Holloway.
Well, I watched it repeatedly, that particular clip, and it in real time and almost in the clip, it looks like Izzy slips while getting punched. But the more you watch it, you realize it's a knockdown. You know what I mean?
Oh.
The punch hits him, and I would call it a knockdown.
Oh, when he at the end when he turns his back.
No, but right
before
before that, and then it looks a bit slippish because it's Israel.
Yes.
In the way that he covers up getting hurt.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right.
But I'm telling you, it's a knockdown that it lands right on temple, kind of high with that weird Duplessis punch.
Yeah.
And he goes down, gets up, turns. That's when he points to the floor.
And then backs up.
And then backs away because he was hurt.
Yeah.
I believe, you know what I mean?
But
From
it's like,
that punch before.
But he pointed to the floor 2 times, and both times, the first time he points, he then backs away. The second time, completely turns his back to Duplessis, and
eats a couple big shots. Honestly,
I can almost understand to a striker, trying to get away and turning your back.
You can't turn your back.
You should never turn your back, but I almost can understand trying to slip away and get away from the punches.
A grapple, maybe, but not a... Nah.
Oh, man. And Duplessis with some punches from the back and a good trip
landed on
takedown.
his ear it looked like a football tackle, like a hip drag.
Yeah. Takes him down immediately.
That they banned, right? Didn't they?
The hip drop tackle,
Yeah,
yes.
the hip
It's
drop
banned.
tackle.
It's banned in the NFL.
That's what it looked like. A hip drop.
Immediately goes to the back, gets his hooks in, and doesn't even get a full rear naked behind. He gets
Izzy did fight his hands, and then he switched to that Gable grip.
The Gable grip. And it wasn't even under the chin.
Duplessis too strong for him.
Oh man, that says a lot
situation,
for your crank when you can get with a Gable grip on the chin and force a man to tap.
Yeah.
Incredible work from Dracus Duplessis.
Quick finish, great resilience. He never felt that he was out of it, obviously.
Yeah. This right here.
And that's what I'm talking about with these other fighters. You got to try something.
Yeah.
You can't keep doing the same stuff where he's just beating you.
Yeah.
You got to go, even if it's weird, you go for broke, or you fall on him and get an ankle pick and get a takedown.
Reminiscent of Misha Tate, Holly Holmes. She was getting dominated, worse than Dracus.
Yeah.
And then last minute desperation, 2 minutes left in the round, drags Holly Holmes down, works her way up her back, rear naked choke. Holly Holmes, I always tell people that she punched, she took 2 strikes
the air.
before going to sleep. And it was that, like, what a win for Miesha Tate, you know? Never giving up, never losing hope. And, I mean, this right here solidifies Dricus as a true champ to go through such adversity, to lose a fight.
Some people like Izzy, you know, the character he is, yeah, he's a tough dude, but he ain't trying to go to sleep.
No. No.
So when they actually get that choke applied, they're like, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, like he did pull the hand at first, which is why he went to Gable grip, but he didn't continue to fight it.
No.
It was okay. No, you know.
Yeah. You got it. It hurts too much.
And they're like,
I'm
I ain't
done.
trying to go to sleep.
No.
You know,
which is sad, man. For that belt, man, you should go to sleep.
I think so.
Yeah.
But you know, you should keep, you know, fighting until you go to sleep, not just let me go to sleep.
Yeah, let me wait till I can't take the pain.
Like Culibao, take every second to fight the hands.
And do it. Like, he did it, man.
It's obvious that it can happen.
Yeah.
Like, so, you know, don't give up.
You can't give up. No, especially on a rare naked
I've always
choke.
felt like it's a give up. Like a you know, Conor versus Nate Diaz won.
I understand
in
an
those
armbar.
submissions. Absolutely.
Armbar, I get it.
I don't want you to destroy my limb.
I almost maybe just
I gotta
because
take a whole year and I might never be the same.
Yeah. I like any type of limb breaking submission. I get that. I don't know. Maybe I feel like a guillotine choke because of how stretched out your back of your neck is.
But you probably go to sleep like over the pain.
Yeah.
You know? But it does crank hard and hurt.
Well, I feel like you could. Like, they could break your neck.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It feels painful.
Yeah, so I could be wrong, but
I would tap more to, you know, one of the lower jaw cranks.
Yeah.
Like what Shevchenko tapped to. I get it.
Yeah.
I get that.
100%.
You know, because I don't want you to break my face.
You know what's a weird
it's
thing?
It's gonna break.
Yeah, exactly. What was weird, you know.
And yeah, my limb, I'm not Tony Ferguson.
No.
Don't kill me.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Sean Strickland comes out and is saying, oh, I tried to say before, Izzy ain't that good. But did you watch the fight? Because he was that good. Because the guy you struggled against, he actually did dominate.
Yeah.
Like, until that last moment, he's dominating that fight. So I kind of thought that was a weird thing to say if you're watching
Sean
the
kind
fight.
of struggled with Dricus throughout the fight.
Yeah.
You know,
we all know that we all believe he won, but he did struggle.
Yeah, whereas, you know, Dricus just found a way here.
Correct. Dricus was like a superhero movie.
He was still trying to find a way the whole time.
Yeah.
With Strickland too, like he fights like that. He just figures stuff out and just goes for whatever works. You know? And
all right.
Hats off to him. They respected each other after.
To be honest with you, I love the respect that was shown.
He's not a bad champion for the division.
He's not. He's a fun guy. He's charismatic, and I think
he can be for everybody because he can grapple and he can strike.
I love that Dana White said he fights like a white dude dancing,
and it's true.
Yeah, it's so funny.
It's true. It's unrhythmic.
And I want to get to this before we run out of time. We don't want to miss another week. We don't want to miss any weeks of this. We got that new segment for you guys, and we're going to end the show on this segment. Maybe we might have a minute to talk about something else. But my boy Mike has Taylor the Titan.
Yes. This is a good one. Let's keep it on Muay Thai.
Yeah.
For maybe this one and the next couple. But picture, if you will, the 70s. And
this was the 70s.
And it's Thailand.
Wow.
And the style has been much the same for hundreds of years. And, you know, you've only been really fighting in your own country.
Yeah.
It's not really a worldwide thing. And it slowly becomes a worldwide thing because of not only this man's career, but other people. But the man we're going to talk about today incorporated things that he's seen from outside of the world that before the 1970s you might not have got as a person living in Thailand.
Correct.
So he incorporated Western boxing.
Yes. Oh, you can see it.
To an incredible degree.
To a level that was amazing.
And you know, done what I think any great athlete of any sport has done, and changed it for all the fighters in the future that come after. And I am talking about Samart Tiptarmi, as his God-given name.
Yeah.
He fought under the name Payakaroon, which is Dawn of the Tiger.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was born December 5th, 1962. Started training in Bangkok at 10 years old because his brother was training. He was years older than him, already started fighting professionally, his brother. And Samart wanted to get into it because he needed to do something athletically. Goes to randomly ends up in the best school in Thailand.
Okay.
The Sit Yard Tong original.
Wow.
And by the time he turns 16, fights professional. By the time he turns 18, he wins his first Lumpini Stadium Championship at 154 pounds.
Wow.
Drops way down in weight, slims out. Crazy, right? He was a little bit bigger when he first started.
Yeah.
And found his body style and the speed and precision that he put on with the length that he had. You watched the highlights,
I did.
right?
Well, I watched the highlights, and it was so much fun to watch.
It's so technical to watch his highlights and to see it's old footage.
Yes,
too,
very old footage, yep.
Because he got real big in the late 70s to the mid 80s, where in the late 80s or mid 80s, 86, he ends up winning a WBC boxing championship.
Really?
Wins a world championship, WBC. Hands was so smooth. They regard him in Thailand as the greatest ever.
Really?
Widely.
Okay.
Like, from what I read, I've never been to Thailand myself.
Okay.
But from what I've read from over the course of years, that it's not a debate. Like, there's a guy right now who's fantastic, Saenchai. You might have heard of him, seen some stuff about him. He might never retire. He's like 49 years old and still fights dudes and wins. It's crazy. He's on like a 200 and something fight win streak. It's ridiculous. They say Samart is better, and they don't have discussions about it. Like, it's not a thing. They don't compare new guys to him. They say he's the Thai boxing saint and forever will be. He's the best that there ever will be, they say. Like, it's incredible.
I mean, so I watched the highlights, and one of the most impressive things that I was noticing while he was fighting is clearly, yes, he did take the head and body movement from boxing and was utilizing it at a level that we see right now.
Yes.
Like, I feel
that's why, I believe that they fight that way because
of him.
Yeah, around the globe.
Yeah. Like, he's the Michael Jordan of Muay Thai
100%,
fighting.
yeah.
And so what I thought was super impressive, and like, yeah, you see it a little bit now, but you don't see it in this way. And it's like kind of like, I don't want to say like, it reminds me of John Jones in the way that he beats everybody differently. You can't prepare for this dude.
Yes. They called him, they have classifications of Muay Thai fighters, if you want to look them up and stuff, but they called him a Muay Femur, which is a tactician, and they call him the best at that ever. And,
wow.
And I forget the word that I falled into, but it was like an explosion. I just fought forward pressure.
Yeah.
But he was the best. They say that nobody else can even consider themselves a Muay Femur, that he's like the only. Yeah.
Wow.
It's the status he has is crazy.
It's serious.
It's crazy. Well, and not only, let's go through his numbers anyways. 130 wins, 18 losses, and 2 draws. Only 30 KO wins in all of that. Strangely. Lots of decisions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But also fighting everybody who's good. You know what I mean? Like like once a week.
And in the highlight they said that he was once they instituted the international rules, he never lost.
Never lost. There was I think it's 112 maybe in a row towards the end of his career.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, in a row.
That's insane.
Winning and on the championship level. 4 world titles, the featherweight, the super flyweight at 115, the light flyweight at 105, and the pin weight at 102, a small man, which I loved.
Yeah.
Because the speed and precision was just incredible. But he doesn't look small in the highlights.
No,
right?
he does not.
Looks about 6 foot tall.
Yeah, I thought he was probably a lightweight.
Right, but depending on his opponent, he would use the kick, that beautiful teep kick, but kind of a side kick.
Yes.
Like,
he was brutalizing people's thighs with that.
That was like something that people didn't do before him. Now it's a widely used technique.
Yeah, and his front kick,
Yeah.
oh boy.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was.
But then you think you're safe, you get inside of that and you're eating crazy elbows, and you throw punches and you get nothing but
air.
Nothing but air. In a counter, a straight left. Oh, and a straight left hand.
Man, the confidence in him, like when he hits somebody.
And then the swagger.
Yes.
Yeah.
So much swag after he gets someone with a good counter or knocks someone down, does a trip, and then just walks away like.
Or he was the first dude that taught me, watching his highlights, to when you dump somebody, to stand over him and make the referee push you away to intimidate him.
Yeah.
While if he's flat on his back, stand as close, even like put your feet in between his legs and stuff, like stand over him. Put your legs over him and then make the referee push you back and warn you. Like, hey, none of that. And you're like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. Even give him a, come on.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Tactics upon tactics upon tactics. Retired with as Lumpini champion and WBC champion. Then went on to release 3 albums in Thailand through 1989.
Like music albums.
To 1992. Been in numerous movies. Movie star. Yeah. Just incredible, widely loved man.
Wow.
Super famous. Still training people to this day.
Oh, he's still alive.
Oh, yeah. Still, he's in his 60s, late 60s, you know.
Wow.
And nice in that sweet spot. And still, like, the best looking man in Thailand. Like, crazy. Just
that's insane.
Blessed.
So not only are you not widely,
right,
all regarded as the greatest Muay Thai fighter of all time.
I've never seen that it's a conversation with anybody.
Wow.
Like, it's crazy.
That's incredible.
Except for maybe younger people, but not younger Thai people.
No.
They all know.
Yeah, it's history.
They all know about him. They grew up, like, there's probably a picture in their house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's insane.
Somebody got a movie poster probably next to him with a title on his shoulder. Like, yeah. Great fighter, the GOAT from Thailand.
Awesome. His name again?
Samart Payakaroon.
Known as?
Samart Tiptarmi, known as Payakaroon.
All right.
Yeah.
And
but he goes by Samart Payakaroon.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how he's known.
And before we get out of here, because we wanted to get into some news. If you want to say it real quick, you can, or if you want to hold off.
Oh, what, the Casey Kenny?
Casey Kenny?
Yeah, 5 charges, 2 felony charges for kidnapping and assault, domestic dispute with his girlfriend.
Yeah. So he probably won't be fighting in the UFC.
Well, he's looking at 4 years, the smallest, maybe 12.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
If convicted, yeah.
And then we have this weekend, August 24th, UFC Fight Night, Jared Cannonier versus Caio Borralho?
Yeah, Caio Borralho.
Caio Borralho.
Yeah.
What the Fighting Nerds?
Yeah, he's part of the Fighting Nerds.
Yes.
He's a little wild, but super skilled, good jiu-jitsu, long striker. I don't know. Cannonier, man, it's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough to love him. You know, you want to love him, but he's just like, he's always on the cusp, and I want him to get the belt.
I feel like the last fight he got robbed. But he's that guy, too.
Yeah. He risked his ranking.
Yeah.
And it turned out bad for him, just like Gamrot just did. You know?
All right, that's all we have for you this week. For those of you doing it, good luck in your fantasy football drafts. We have it this weekend ourselves. Until next week, you have a good night.